welcome to this week's Monday Minutes. My name is Kelly.
And my name is Jessie, and this week we are going to talk to you about floating collections. This is a suggestion that came in from one of our partners that asked if we could do a little more in-depth information about how floating collections can work in your library. So what we'll do today is we'll talk to you about the administration side of things and where you can set that up, and then Kelly's going to run through and show us a couple examples.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is the floating options are living in your circulation and find rules. So there are two places that floating can be set up. As we look, and we've done quite a few tutorial videos, and we can link to our circ rules if this is all very new to you and you're a little overwhelmed with this page. We did a 4-part series on a lot of this areas within the circ rules. But if I scroll down, I'm in my standard rules for all libraries. I can certainly choose a library to say this is specifically valid for this library if I so desired. The first place we'll see the holds option, or the floating option, I apologize, is within this default checkout hold and return policy. That's actually saying after all the other rules come into play, you can set a default return policy, which is right here. And you can say, when something gets returned, it can return home, returns to the issuing library, or floats. Now we're going to go into more specifics below because Koha is going to look at this chart before it moves up to that chart. Jess, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so this is our default holds policy by item type. So, some pretty good examples are like DVD. Sometimes you want the DVD to return home. You don't want it to float because DVDs are popular. They're moving pretty fast. So you'll notice the fourth column here in this table where the column 1 is, telling us the item type. The fourth one is our return policy. So this is where we have the options to say either the item floats, meaning it's going to stay at the location that it was returned at. So if I'm, let's say, a multi-branch system, I, as a patron, may have checked it out at the East branch, but I returned it to the West branch. If it floats, that means it's going to stay there. My next option is the item returns home. So it's going to go back to its home branch, which is that 952 subfield A. So it's going to return back to its home location. And then we have the item returns to its issuing library. Now, that could be the place that it was checked out from. So let's say I checked it out from the North branch, it's going to return back to that North branch. So you have 3 options here. So if you want that item to float, meaning that wherever it gets returned, it's going to stay at until it either gets checked out or placed on hold or a transfer is made, it's going to float or stay at that location.
And you will not get that alert to say, transfer this back. It will just continue to stay in your library until it gets checked out to another person. If it doesn't float and it needs to return home, you will get that transfer pop-up that says, hey, this is supposed to go back to the main library. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna look at some of my checkouts. Oh, I should say, I have audiobook and book set up to float. So any returns that I do for a book or an audiobook, they should stay wherever I return them. And then something like a new book should return back to its home. So we'll go through a couple examples and see how those work. So I probably should I'm going to set myself to a library that I know I don't have anything from. Okay. So this DVD Wonder, its home location, home library is at the main library. So if I were to return this here at the West branch, it should say, hey, it's time to go home, because I'm not at the location of the main branch. And it's not set up to go ahead and float. So it says, please return this item to the main library. Okay. Now we'll pop back into my account that shows a book. So here is an audiobook. That's one of the items that does float. It lives, or its home location is the main library. So if I were to return this to the West branch, let's see what happens.
Perfect.
Perfect. So it's going to tell me nothing other than, hey, thanks for the check-in. But we can see that it's going to, current location is where I'm checking it in, and it lives in the main library. So it's really great for libraries that do share their collection, that floating option.
And now for those of you where your gears are already churning, can you run a report to think about, show me where an item where the home library is different from the current library? Absolutely, you can do that.
We can always probably put that report in there before anyone asks for it. So, okay. Well, we're back at home and missing each other desperately already, but we hope you have a great week.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.